having a great day today. This is Angel with Life with Angel, married to Dr. Jackers, and I hope you enjoy this video. I'm going to be talking today about 5 tips for busy moms. Okay, tip number 1 is make a meal plan. Every week on Saturday, what I do is I make a meal plan for the week. So I go ahead and decide what I'd like to make. I look at my calendar and which nights we're gonna be more busy, which nights we're gonna be more laid back, to determine if I have a lot of time or just a little bit of time to invest into dinner. And I make my grocery list at the same time as I make my meal prep list. And I go into my pantry, I check out what needs to be replenished, I look into my freezer, my refrigerator, and having this already prepped the weekend before the week starts helps me having to not scramble figuring out what to do for dinner. So that's tip 1. Tip number 2, sleep is vital for our health. At the same time, we need some space in the morning before our kids get up. And so one thing that I like to do is wake up before my kids wake up. However, whatever time they wake up, I like to wake up an hour before they do. I like to have my little routine where I take whatever supplements or vitamins I might want to be taking. I like to drink a glass of coffee and I add stevia to it to make it flavorful, but I don't add cream to it because I actually do intermittent fasting in the morning, so I don't eat until 10:30. That's one little tip that helps me have a clear mind and stay trim. So I do that. I drink lots of water in the morning, and I read some books. I read different types of books. I like to read my Bible. I like to read a book on a scientific type of topic that I'm currently wanting to learn more about, like related to health or something of a controversial nature. Sometimes I read biographies of people and what they've written about themselves. Sometimes I like to read an inspirational book or a spiritual book. I also like to have a gratitude journal that I journal in every morning, things that I'm grateful for, and this helps me have my mindset ready for my day. And then I always like to allow time for my bowel movements to work. That sounds kind of silly, but it's important to have consistent, regular bowel movements in the morning. And if you're crazy and stressed and on the go, then it's harder for your body to flush itself. So it's good to drink lots of water and to allow time to allow your body to do what it needs to do and flush out toxins, because that's what poop is it's toxins getting eliminated from your body. And so that's something that I like to make time for. And then I like to go get my kiddos. Tip number 3, schedule your week out in advance so that it doesn't feel hectic and crazy, and so that you're not scrambling. So for me, I have an iPhone and I use my calendar app. So for me, this is vital to my success. For me, I need a sense of organization and structure in order for me to feel competent and I'm taking charge of what I need to do. So this app that I like to use has different colors that I get to choose from. So these are the colors that I've chosen. And again, if you don't know how to work this app and you're interested in trying this out, you can always take it to your local Mac store if you have an iPhone, or I'm sure that Androids have similar functionalities, or you could even use the old school paper calendar. But for me, I like the color-coded system. If it's blue, for instance, that means it's something that's a structured schedule. So for me, it says today, 9:30 to noon was homeschooling time for my boys. And I put it in as a repeating schedule. So every week, 9:30 to noon on Wednesdays is homeschooling. And then I'm filming right now. So in blue, it says 1:30 to 3:30 filming. So that's my way. That blue means it involves other people and not just me. Green means I need to be home, but it's not something I need to be doing. For instance, when my nanny is working, I'll put that in green so I keep up with her hours, but it doesn't mean I have to be doing the work. It just means I know that in the back of my head, those are the hours she's working, and that's when I have childcare. So I hope that's helpful. It might sound complicated, but if you get acquainted with whatever calendar system works for you and think about planning out in advance the week before or the weekend before your week begins, then you'll feel, for me at least, I feel a little bit more control in my life. All right, tip number 4. So our kids are our treasures, and as moms that are busy, sometimes it's easy to forget that. It's easy to just get stuck in the day in and day out things that we need to do. It's easy to want to check on our phones, and sometimes it's easy to get bored with talking to little people who aren't able to have highly intellectual conversations back, right? So one thing that I try to be mindful of, again, in my point number 3, I talked about my calendar system and how I like to think intentionally about how my blocks of time are being used. one thing that I think is helpful is to have intentional blocks of time where you're just hanging out with your kids. Because I think it's easy to forget that. It's easy to just get in mom mode where we're making their lunch, cleaning their dishes, folding their laundry, wiping their boogers off, like all these things that we have to do. And it's sometimes being a mom can turn more into a chore. And so it's nice to intentionally think, okay, this is my quality time. This is my time to just really enjoy the moment and not even necessarily feel like a mom, but feel more like just a friend who loves them. Obviously, you're still an authority, but it's just a chance to connect, have eye contact, talk, engage, and really just be intentional. I think for me, my kids, I've noticed behave so much better when I carve out time like that for them, even if it's just a small amount of time. I have 3 kids personally, and so it's hard to give one-on-one time, but even 5 minutes of undivided attention without any distractions, oh my goodness, I feel like my kids behave so much better when they feel that one-on-one or even one-on-3, even if it's just me focusing in on all the kids at one time as opposed to me multitasking. So that's one little note I think will help. It sounds like it's inefficient because it takes more time, but I think at the end of the day, it makes your time more efficient because in my experience, my kids act more behaved when they get that time from me. Point number 5. So lastly, I wanted to talk about investing in yourself. This sounds like an obvious answer, but a lot of us moms forget to do that. So in my next video, don't forget to listen, I'm going to talk more about what does self-care look like and ways that I invest into myself. So check that video out. All right, thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in my next self-care video.